This conference will now be recorded.
All right, folks, so good afternoon. Glad to see you all back. And let me just take you through some information that you'll be looking at and reviewing in the Laboratory Manual for Majors, General Biology, Perry, Morton, and Perry. Okay. Now, we are going to be focusing on, right now, exercise 23, lab 23. Let's go to that there. And what you'll see is that we're in lab exercise 23. I'm going to go back to my Word document here. This is posted in coursework for this lab, okay, that you will, human sensations, reflexes, reactions, and the structure and function of sensory organs. And so what we're trying to show you here is that this is interesting in that sensory input that the body is receiving from the sensory receptors throughout the body, whether they be for special senses or the senses of, say, for touch, pressure, light touch, whatever it may be, deep touch. We're discussing that as far as in this lab today, okay? And you all will have opportunity to work with someone in your home, right? If you have no one that you can do this with, then okay, then you'll miss out on a couple of the aspects here, and you'll just have to talk to me about it. But really, everyone should be able to access someone that they can do a little bit of work with them regarding that they could be your patient, so to speak, okay? So for 23.1, I'm going to take you through the lab manual in just a moment, but I want to show you that I'm going to require that you Google the following and look at images for Meissner and Pacinian corpuscles. Okay, you're going to see them online. You're going to look at, do an image search of, and then draw these two different types of sensory receptors. Okay, and then you're going to perform 23.1, the exercises within that portion of the lab with the help of a family member. And I'll talk you through that in just a moment. 23.2, we're going to be looking at reflexes. And none of us, I do, but you all, I'm sure, do not have a reflex hammer available to you. And I would not recommend using a hammer per se. So just what you can use the knife edge of your hand. You know, like you've ever seen movies where there's like karate chop. Oh, well, you can do the same with this portion. This is called the thenar eminence. This is the hypothenar eminence of your hand. And so this area right here, kind of like, we would call this the knife edge. You can actually just use this as a reflex hammer, okay, and elicit the reflex response. Go easy, don't go hard. Take it easy. You know, be gentle with what you're doing. You don't want to hurt the person that's acting as your patient, but you can try this, and you should be able to, with a little bit of practice, elicit a reflex. Okay, 23.4. You're skipping, right? So we're not doing all of what's present in the lab here, okay? The eye and the vision, you're going to define and function, give function of the terms listed on page 531 in figure 23-9. There's two figures there. I'll go over there with you. And it's in the lab manual itself, but I still want this to be a part of what you're submitting to me, okay? So you'll submit a Word document to me with this information in it, answering questions and such. On page 536, read and describe your results of finding your blind spot. So that's pretty cool and pretty simple to do. And you'll see it there in the lab, and we'll go over that. And lastly, taste and smell. You'll perform part C of this lab on page 540, and it's the interactions between taste and smell. Okay, so let's take a look, and let's look at what I'm going to. But again, too, this is present in the coursework there, and giving you exactly what I expect of you to do. So you don't have to do everything within the lab. I expect for you to do certain parts of the lab that you can do on your own. Okay, so let's minimize this here. And so you'll see here, folks, that you'll have to read through this, right? It's always, so here's where you would move and go from. So you'll look at this here, and what I would like to show you is that really this is pretty cool, is that when we're looking at the central nervous system, your brain and your spinal cord, what's going on is that we have sensory input, right? This would be information that's coming from the receptors to the central nervous system. The central nervous system then will decide how to react to this input it's received, and then this motor output will either go to the skeletal muscle or go to smooth cardiac muscles, glands, will elicit a response that is a voluntary response or an involuntary response. Sensory input, and then these are the motor outputs. Okay? Now, you'll see here 23.1 sensations. You'll read through this, and what I expect for you, so there's not going to be everything that you're going to be able to do, like I said. That's why I've given you the specific instructions. Read through this, please. You'll look at here. You'll create this grid. You'll follow the instructions. You'll create this table. You'll answer questions. Now, I didn't ask for, let's see, yeah, so phantom pain, you're going to be using, these are things that you have in your home that you'll be able to use, okay? So an ice bag, you'll be able to do from the freezer, right? You'll be able to use that. Hot and cold, you'll be able to, so read through the directions. If there's something you can't do, no problem, folks, right? So it's all good. No, let me just stop. Right, so then you're going to, let's see here, you'll follow through the instructions regarding this right here. So, you know, you're not gonna have beakers at home, but you can have a bowl that you can fill up with ice water, and you can have another bowl that you can fill up with warm water. So follow the instructions, do what's expected of you here, okay? If you have any questions, actually, you know what, okay, yeah. So 23.2, then we go to the reflexes. So you'll see here, as far as then go to the next page. Again, like I said, you can use your, instead of a reflex hammer, you can use the knife edge of your hand to elicit the response, the reflex. Answer the questions. You'll see here, as far as what's taking place with the reflex hammer. The pupillary response. This is something that you can use as just a little flashlight and see what goes on as far as the pupil's reaction to light input. This complex reflexes here, as far as swallowing is concerned, you can do this also. You don't have to do 23.3, okay? You don't have to do this. If you'd like to do this on your own, you may, but you don't have to do that. You're not expected to do that. Okay. But 23.4, what I would like you to do, right, is I expect you only to do this. So don't worry about 23.4 other than you're going to look at, so these are two images, right? See 23-9, and you see that there are terms that are on these two images, terms. I would like you to define these terms as far as function of these different structures, functions of these structures in the images here. That's all I would want from you for 23.4. Just give me the function of all these terms that are present in these two images. That's it. No questions, no, just defining those structures, please. Okay, and then we're going to go then to 536, page 536. On page 536, all I'm asking you to do is look at this information regarding the blind spot of the eye. Okay, so you'll read through this. So you'll hold. So you'll get a piece of paper, and you can do this yourself. You can either print this out, or you can just approximate what you see there. Put a dark circle and an X on the other. Keep them, measure the distance between them. So hold that 20 inches from your right eye. Close your left eye. Place your right eye directly over the dot. Stare at the dot while bringing the page closer to the eye until the X disappears. At this point, the image is the X The image of the X is falling on the blind spot of the retina. So this area of the eye is really, it's called the optic disc. It's where the actual cranial nerve number 2, your optic nerve, actually is exiting the eyeball, and there are no photoreceptors, no sensory receptors for vision in this area, hence it's called the blind spot. And so what occurs is that your brain, your visual cortex, will be able to fill in what's missing from the input from the blind spot of your eye. Pretty cool stuff. So please do that. Just give me your, describe what your results are from that, okay? Then you're going to skip 23.5. Again, you can review this and look at it and go over it, but I'm just expecting of you to do the following that I've given you. 23.6, you're going to do part C, not part A. You can read through it, absolutely, it'll be helpful. Part B, no. I missed it, I'm sorry. Here. Yeah, here we go, part C. So part C, interaction between taste and smell. This you're going to review and do this table with a couple of different fruits and vegetables, and you'll just have a couple of trials here, and you'll notate, follow the directions for that. So pretty simple, folks, okay? So I will also post this in documents and resources. It's in the directions for this coursework, but I'll post this actual Word document for you all so that you can actually print the Word document and you'll have it as far as what's expected of you for this lab number 23. Okay?